America, hold on to your maple syrup because things just got real with Canada. The Donald, in all his infinite wisdom, has decided to slap tariffs on our neighbors to the north. That's right, folks, tariffs. Those things economists warn about, those things that raise prices for everyone. Trump claims it's all about protecting American jobs. But let's be honest, this feels more like a reality TV show stunt than actual economic policy. Remember when he said Canada was a national security threat? Yeah, this is the same energy. So, what set off the Donald this time? Well, it seems like he woke up one morning, saw a bottle of maple syrup on his breakfast table, and decided it was time to punish Canada for being too damn delicious. Or maybe it was something about Canadians being too polite. Who knows with this guy? Now, you might think our Canadian friends, known for their politeness and love of hockey, would just take this lying down. Think again. Canada isn't just going to roll over and let Trump walk all over them. They've got poutine to protect, for crying out loud. Prime Minister Trudeau, looking more like a disappointed school teacher than a world leader, announced retaliatory tariffs on a whole bunch of American goods. We're talking everything from ketchup to bourbon to playing cards. Looks like those late-night poker games in the White House just got a whole lot more expensive. This isn't some small potato spat either. We're talking billions of dollars worth of goods here. The kind of money that makes CEOs sweat and stock markets go haywire. This trade war is getting real, folks, and nobody's sure who's going to blink first. Okay, let's get down to brass tacks, shall we? What do these tariffs actually mean for you, the average Joe, or should I say the average Joseph, for our Canadian viewers? Well, in a nutshell, get ready to pay more for just about everything. Remember that delicious Canadian maple syrup I mentioned earlier? Yeah, that's about to get pricier. And those American-made cars, they're going up in price too. And don't even get me started on the price of beer. But it's not just about the price hikes. This trade war is also threatening jobs on both sides of the border. American factories that rely on Canadian parts are feeling the pinch, and Canadian businesses that sell to the US are worried about their future. This whole thing is a lose-lose situation, folks. Back in Canada, this trade war is causing a political earthquake. Remember Justin Trudeau, the dreamy-eyed Prime Minister who was the darling of the international community? Well, he's gone. Resigned in January. Turns out, even being charming and handsome can't save you from a good old-fashioned political scandal. And now? The political scene is more chaotic than a moose loose in a hockey locker room. The Conservatives, who've adopted a Trump-like platform, are trying to capitalize on the chaos, but their whole "we're just like Trump" message isn't playing so well now that Trump is slapping tariffs on Canada. It's like watching a slow-motion train wreck. But instead of a train, it's the Canadian political system. And instead of mangled metal, it's mangled trade deals and shattered political careers. Stay tuned, folks, this is far from over. Section 5. The world reacts. From applause to alarm. So how's the rest of the world reacting to this North American trade spat? Well, it's a mixed bag, really. Some folks are cheering Trump on, while others are watching with a mixture of amusement and horror. You've got your usual suspects, Russia, North Korea, those guys, who are probably loving this whole thing. A divided West is good news for them. But then you've got America's allies in Europe and Asia, who are starting to wonder if Uncle Sam has lost his marbles. The European Union, which has its own trade issues with the US, is watching this whole thing like a hawk. They're trying to figure out if Trump's trade war is contagious, and if they're next on his hit list. China, meanwhile, is probably just sitting back and enjoying the show, munching on popcorn and waiting to see who comes out on top. Section 6. Carney's comeback Canada's new hope? But wait, there's a plot twist. Remember Mark Carney, the financial whiz kid, who used to run the Bank of Canada and then the Bank of England? Well, he's back, baby. And he's throwing his hat into the ring for the Liberal Party leadership. Now, I know what you're thinking. A central banker? In politics? But hear me out. Carney is no ordinary banker. This guy is the financial world's equivalent of a rock star. He's smart, he's charismatic, and he's got a plan to save Canada from Trump's trade war. Whether he can actually pull it off is another story. Canadian politics is a tough game, even for a seasoned player like Carney. But hey, stranger things have happened. Remember that time a reality TV star became President of the United States? Section 7. The people speak, from coast to coast outrage. But what about the real victims in all of this? No, not the politicians or the CEOs. I'm talking about the everyday people, the ones who are feeling the pinch of this trade war in their wallets and their lives. From the dairy farmers in Quebec to the auto workers in Ontario, Canadians are feeling the pain of Trump's tariffs, and they're not afraid to let their voices be heard. Protests have erupted across the country, with Canadians from all walks of life coming together to denounce Trump's actions. It's a true testament to the Canadian spirit, this ability to come together in the face of adversity. They may be known for their politeness, but Canadians are also a resilient bunch. They've weathered storms before, both literal and metaphorical, and they'll weather this one too. Section 8. A global trade order on the brink. This whole US-Canada trade war is just a symptom of a much larger problem. The global trade order, the system of rules and agreements that has governed international commerce for decades, is teetering on the brink of collapse. Trump's America First policies, his disdain for multilateralism, and his willingness to use tariffs as a weapon have shaken the very foundations of the global trading system, and the rest of the world is watching, wondering if the rules-based order that has brought unprecedented peace and prosperity is about to go up in smoke. The stakes couldn't be higher. If the global trade order collapses, we could be looking at a future of trade wars, protectionism, and economic uncertainty. It's a bleak future, one that we should all be working to avoid. Section 9. The future of US-Canada relations, from neighbors to frenemies. So, what does the future hold for the US and Canada? Will these two countries, once the best of friends, become bitter rivals? It's a question that's on the minds of many, both north and south of the border. The truth is, no one really knows. A lot depends on what happens in the coming months and years. Will Trump be re-elected? Will Canada elect a leader who can stand up to him? Will the global trade order survive? One thing's for sure, this trade war has left its mark on the US-Canada relationship. It's going to take time, effort, and a whole lot of goodwill to repair the damage. Whether these two countries can find their way back to a place of mutual respect and cooperation remains to be seen. Like, share, subscribe.